This is my body,
my life,
my voice, my truth, my future,
my decisions.
When we own our bodies, we are powerful.
We are free.
When we have control,
we thrive.
We won't go back.
We won't tolerate this assault on our health and our rights. And that means access to safe and legal abortion. Now is the time to unite.
Get your bands off my body.
As founder of the American Birth Control League, which later became Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger was no doubt a controversial figure with disturbing views on eugenics, race, and population control. While some argue she even wanted to exterminate the Black race, others are trying to erase that part of her past.
The Mike Wallace Interview.
In the eyes of some, Margaret Sanger has been a heroine. In the eyes of others, she's been a destructive force.
In her own words, Sanger pushed for a society that limited births to those she deemed fit to have children.
Well, I think the greatest sin in the world is bringing children into the world that have disease from their parents, that have no chance in the world to be a human being, practically. Delinquents, prisoners, all sorts of things just marked when they're born.
In 1916, Sanger opened the country's first birth control clinic. As a member of the American Eugenics Society, she advocated improving the genetic composition of humans through controlled reproduction of different races and classes. She often wrote about the issue in the journal she founded, called the Birth Control Review. In 1919, writing,
I personally believe in the sterilization of the feeble-minded, the insane, and the syphilitic. The most urgent problem today is how to limit and discourage the over-fertility of the mentally and physically defective.
Many point to a 1923 New York Times interview as proof of Sanger's racist motives, in which she referred to people as weeds, saying,
It means the release and cultivation of the better racial elements in our society and the gradual suppression, elimination, and eventual extirpation of defective stocks, those human weeds which threaten the blooming of the finest flowers of American civilization.
Hayden Ludwig, an investigative researcher, has extensively studied Sanger's life and writings.
She talked about the need for race betterment through controlling these weeds, basically undesirable people.
In 1939, after opening another clinic in Harlem, the birth control activist launched the Negro Project, an initiative supported by Black leaders, such as civil rights activist W.E.B. Du Bois. Critics claim the program used the pretense of better health and family planning for poor Blacks in the South as an attempt to limit the Black race. Ludwig says some on the left grapple with Sanger's past and how to interpret her legacy.
They know when she writes about human weeds, they know that it's repulsive. They know it's disgusting. The left will never abandon Margaret Sanger because if they do, she's the foundation of so many of their views.
Sanger once shared her vision for a preferred race at a women's branch of the Ku Klux Klan, writing in her autobiography,
Always, to me, any aroused group was a good group.
Despite those views, liberals praise Sanger's work while ignoring her history.
I admire Margaret Sanger enormously. Her courage, her tenacity, her vision. I am really in awe of her.
Ryan Baumberger, founder of the Radiance Foundation, says abortion proponents are working to clean up Sanger's past and what she stood for.
They have to reinvent her every time they talk about her in order to justify their celebration of her.
Former Planned Parenthood director Abby Johnson says those inside the abortion industry are trained to overlook Sanger's racist views.
They give you an answer like, well, I mean, yes, Margaret Sanger was a racist, but everybody was a racist back then. You accept it because she is your hero. And she has to be your hero. You cannot question Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood is on the defensive this morning, facing an investigation of its practices. An undercover video alleges the reproductive health organization sells body parts from abortions. The group says the claims are flat out untrue. Jan Crawford is in Washington, where 3 congressional committees are now getting involved. Jan, good morning.
Well, good morning. So the video was secretly recorded by the anti-abortion group as part of a 2.5-year sting operation. Here, 2 members posed as employees of a biotech firm to get access to a top doctor at Planned Parenthood. And over lunch, they recorded the whole conversation.
A lot of people want attack parts these days.
In graphic detail, Planned Parenthood's Senior Director of Medical Services described how to preserve valuable fetal tissue during an abortion.
We've been very good at getting parts on liver because we know that so I'm not going to crush that part. I'm going to basically crush below, I'm going to crush above, and I'm going to see if I can get it intact.
Over wine and salad, she answered questions about the organization providing fetal tissue to researchers, typically for a fee.
I would say it's probably anywhere from $30 to $100, depending on the facility and what's involved.
Well, she helped numerous women get abortions, but she's now a strong pro-life advocate who helps lead protests at the very clinic she once worked for. Please welcome former director for Planned Parenthood, Abby Johnson, from Bryan College Station, Texas. Abby, it's so nice to have you here.
Thank you.
We asked Planned Parenthood to issue a statement. We actually asked someone, would they like to be on and to share their side of the story. We got this statement. I want to share it. They said, Planned Parenthood respects everyone's beliefs on this most personal of medical issues. Planned Parenthood remains fully committed to ensuring that every woman facing an unintended pregnancy knows all of her options. Planned Parenthood's focus is on prevention. Nationwide, more than 90% of the health care Planned Parenthood affiliates provide is preventative in nature. Abby, my honest assessment of that statement is they do prevent some things. They prevent birth, not illnesses. There's no illness involved in a pregnancy. Illness means you're sick. You're not sick when you're having a baby.
No.
When you were at Planned Parenthood, did you find that the focus was on health care and prevention of illness?
No, it's prevention of, I mean, a lot of it is prevention of pregnancy, and that is why I got into it.
That's why you first got involved.
That's why I first got involved.
Getting an unintended pregnancy.
That's right. That's absolutely why I got involved in it. But I soon found that one of their goals was to make money. And the way they make money is to increase the number of abortions they do.
You were working, actually helping and assisting in an abortion, and you saw on an ultrasound the abortion process. Tell me, what did you see when the ultrasound was running and the abortion was taking place?
Well, I was called into the room to assist during the procedure, and it was actually an ultrasound-guided abortion procedure, which is not that common in Planned Parenthood health centers because it's a longer type of abortion procedure, and Planned Parenthood centers are trying to do as many procedures a day as they can, and so they're not going to take a lot of time for each procedure. But for whatever reason, this physician did decide to do an ultrasound-guided procedure on this particular woman. And so I was called in to help, and my job was to hold the ultrasound probe on this woman's abdomen so that the physician could actually see the uterus on the ultrasound screen. And when I looked at the screen, I saw a baby on the screen, and she was about 13 weeks pregnant at the time. And I saw a full side profile, so I saw face to feet on the ultrasound machine, and I saw the probe going into the woman's uterus, and at that moment I saw the baby moving and trying to get away from the probe.
Moving away from the, oh my God.
Yes. And I thought, it's fighting for its life. And I thought, it's life. I mean, it's alive.
Until that moment, Abby, had it appeared to you that you were able to use words like fetus and tissue, it was very different than when you saw the form of a child, recognizable.
That it was alive.
What did you do? Did you say anything at that moment to the doctor?
No, I mean, my mind was racing, my heart was beating so fast, and I just was thinking, oh my gosh, make it stop. And then all of a sudden, I mean, it was just over, just in a blink of an eye, and I just saw the baby just literally just crumble, and it was over.
Oh.
And I dropped the ultrasound probe, and then I realized, oh my gosh, I'm not holding the ultrasound probe. So I scrambled and I put the ultrasound probe back in place, and so many things were going through my mind, and I was thinking about my daughter who's 3, and I was thinking about the ultrasound I had of her, and I was thinking of just how perfect that ultrasound was when she was 12 weeks in the womb, and I was just thinking, what am I doing? What am I doing here? And I could just, I had one hand on this woman's belly, and I was thinking, there was life in here, and now there's not. And
you literally were holding your hand on top of her, on top of her belly at that point, and realized that what was underneath that hand once a moment ago was life, and it's gone.